Hello, everybody, and welcome to Machtengart. This is the German Grand Prix in Ultimate League. We're in Season 12, Round 3. We raced at Alton Park last week in one of the most dramatic race finishes that has been seen for many a season in the competition. And we're hoping for some more entertaining racing today. I am joined by Nuno and Goose.
Hi.
Yeah.
Howdy.
Howdy, Goosey. What was the point you were trying to make earlier? Sorry, I just cut you off.
Oh, it was just incredible that we are getting off on a good start today because the problems that we had in the JL and CL races. But hey, we're not complaining here, are we?
We're certainly
Corbin
not.
on pole.
And neither are Corvid and I Stole These Words, who are currently tied for provisional pole position. That is something. Okay, a little bit of lag there. Just had Corvid on board from there. That really is something. Buda and Hanandi are sort of pre-season championship favourites, are currently locking out the second row. They've both looked impressive, particularly last race where they were both on the podium. Let's see if they can improve their laps. This time, Buda goes pole position. That is
Corbin stopping.
absolutely decimating the lap set there. What's happened to Corvid?
He's going backwards to try and go full speed for the third lap, it seems.
Interesting strat. So I guess he won't get a proper sort of... That is interesting, yeah. So he's definitely sacrificed the second lap, which I think he might have had a bit of lag on anyways. But here we are, lap 3 of qualifying. I Stole These Words currently provisionally on for his best ever qualifying, tied second place. Will he be able to improve on that? No, he won't. Who will be able to improve? Nobody in the top part, it doesn't look like, but Corvid just might, because he's coming around the final sector. He won't get to the line in time, I'm almost certain. He comes into the pit lane, and Buda takes pole position by a third of a second in one of the largest pole margins we've ever seen in Ultimate League. Corvid will start on the front row perhaps, but he did tie his time with I Stole These Words on for a best ever qualifying for him. Third place in the classified results is incredible. The LSA drivers who are 1 and 2 last race, Nandi and Sobel, will start 4th and 5th ahead of Rozim, who tied Sobel's lap time, and Kubo starting in 7th. It's then Antti, who starts 8th ahead of Kraft, who started on the front row last week, down in 9th this time, and Jaruni starting top 10 for Rapid Motorsport Collective. His teammate Caddo right behind him, then it's Marian Frias and Andres Pamushas with a lower qualifying position than he would have liked. Followed by Grandi, then it's Suicide and Gwetzley, the SCPs, with Urist in between them. It's not an SCP back row. Nuno, your thoughts on that qualifying session?
I would say I think Buda is certainly the main candidate coming to this race, and with him having that qualifying lap, I would say he might certainly be confident now. I think his mission is simply to run away, and yeah, that's basically it, and try to seal the win, as it's his best ever opportunity to get finally one. And yeah, I think that's it. Also, impressive qualifying here from Corbin and Stoll, who also got really good lap in time trial as well. So yeah, then you're gonna see, I think, a huge battle, I think, for second place. Like the LSA, Stolly, maybe also Kuba and Antti trying to put themselves in there, and yeah, that's it.
You definitely can't rule anyone out. Go on, Goose.
Buda took the pole back in Baku, almost won that race. He's won this one by a massive margin. It's his homemade track. If anyone beats him on pace alone, I will do a patented Levioso water shoey.
Fair enough. Right, Buda, the strong favourite. He's never won a race in Ultimate League. Will this be his day? We're underway in Machtengart. Corvid gets a slow start off the line due to the ping that he has. Hanandi and Einstor will be looking to go around the outside. They both get the positions off him. Corvid will fight that one back, and already the front two are looking to break away. Kubo is up from 7th on the grid to 4th already. Here we go into the hairpin. Antti goes deep. Jaruni gets forced off. We're going to have a big clump of cars heading into the corners. Following it, Rozim is off the track. Kubo off as well, and he's going to rejoin next to Antti. They just managed to work their way through cleanly enough there. It's still currently, as we get a massive scrap going on further behind, Buda, who leads and is looking to run away as quickly as those little Estonian legs will carry him. Corvid and Kubo next to each other no longer. I Stole These Words back up still. He's done relatively well off the start over the course of the first lap. He's lost a couple of positions, but he's still in contention. Kubo, despite that off-track excursion, is still very much in the running up there. Sobel just going side by side with him, but the big winner off the start, you'd have to say, was Hanandi, wasn't it, Nuno?
Yeah, I would say really good start for him, but I would say also Buda has made already the mission to running away with everyone else passing now for third place, I think. his mission, his target's really going well. And I think the only thing that can screw him up is gonna be the rain, basically.
Yes, the famous German rain that we saw earlier on. Ooh, big runoff moment there. It was Razim and Marion Friss who decided to take to the escape road. I saw these words is going to try and battle Sobel, but he gets all out of shape through that complex of corners, and he's lost 2 or 3 positions from that. Jaruni's going to try and make that even more if he can. Then further up, Sobel and Corvid still 3rd and 4th for them at the moment. Then it's Jaruni who just cuts the grass too much on the inside of that first corner, and he's going to lose a couple of positions. He's a couple ahead of his teammate, and Kraft and Anti in between them. Kraft, nearly swings the French-Polynesian-based racer wide, and there he does properly, and he's off onto the grass. That is not a good moment for Kraft, but he's going to immediately catch back up to Caddo because Caddo gets a wide moment there as well. Goose, your thoughts from the start?
I can't see much here out on the track. It's been kind of chaotic. I'm going to be focusing more in on the pits. No reception on my end.
Ah, okay.
Ooh, in the meantime, Nani catching up to Buda now at the front.
Oh, yes. He's on the soft compound tyre. I mean, Nuno, what do you think the strategy will generally be across the course of the race?
I think hards. I'm pretty sure most of the drivers are gonna, when going to the pits, are gonna be thinking about pitting for hards mostly. As maybe some drivers thinking about the mediums, and they seem to be more comfortable. But I think the softs might just be for this first stint, because it's a really tire weary track, and it's just hards heavy track basically.
Mm. It's difficult to get a good start on the hard compound tyre, but a lot of drivers have tried it. You can see just behind our highest hard runner is Corvid, who's currently going into battle with Sobel and Kubo. Always difficult with the ping that he has, and he has run wide there, and Sobel will sweep back through in the LSA car and take that 4th position back. Anti behind also on the hards, and they're basically hards all the way down, apart from that little mid-pack, Jaruni, Kraft and Pamushas. As I say that, Arribas! Big rocket off at the final corner, and that is not a good moment for them. The SCP drivers filing through in 14th and 15th position. That was a really poor moment. Again, it's Pamushas, it's Urist, and it's Jaruni, 3 drivers we've seen in so many crashes recently. They just can't stay out of each other's way, and that is really a big issue when you're trying to fight for the higher positions, because they're still fighting through these corners. Jaruni gets another penalty, and I can't say he didn't deserve it, because Pamushas was forced wide there as well. Kraft still up in the top 9 at the moment. He got his best ever finish, 5th place at the Alton Park circuit last time around. I saw these words, still currently clinging on to 6th. 5th place is right ahead of him. That's Anti, and he's got the slipstream, and he's looking in a good position at the moment. Sobel, Kubo, and Buda all still out on the mediums. Hanandi, Grandi, and Marion are all our first stoppers, and Hanandi coming out in 8th place after making that stop is really interesting. He's stuck behind Caddo at the moment. Will be interesting to see these two duel it out. I don't think Caddo should fight this one too much, but he might have a go. Ooh, he's just going to get a little bit nip and tuck through that final corner. Hanandi wants him to back off, and Caddo might just have to do that. The hards are starting to wear out. What lap do we think we could reasonably expect to see them come in, Nuno?
Mostly lap 10, I would say, as 11 lap is already too much, and some already might think about pitting on lap 9.
And is there any valid strategy to extend the hard compound tyre here? Maybe go for 3 pit stops even?
Yeah, I guess it really depends if everyone else is on a very similar strategy and they just keep on slowing each other down with the battling. And I think that's where I can see someone maybe thinking about extending the tires, but I would say it really costs you a lot of time staying long on this track, so yeah, I really don't know who's going to try that.
So Corvid inherits the lead of the race. He's going to be praying for a bit of rain at the moment, as will Caddo, who's now forming a bit of a Caddo train with Kubo and Razim right behind him. He might just let these cars file through, but he is going to be very much hoping for the rain. The sun is currently out, but that doesn't discount anything in the crazy German weather that we might just be getting. He is finally into the pit lane, and Razim, who was on the same tyre strategy as him, that hard tyre from the beginning, pitting on the 10th lap of the Grand Prix. Gwetsley and Andries also into the pit lane, as was Urist. Kraft will emerge through turn 1, right in the middle of this little pack, and he's going to look to pick his way through. Caddo and Jaruni, I think the teammates might have just tripped over each other a little bit in the background as well. So it's currently Jaruni on the medium tyre that is more worn than Caddo's fresh hard. He would do well to just stick in behind and slip his teammate for the time being. The RMC drivers looking for some more top 10 finishes that seem to have just passed them by largely so far this season. Up at the front, it's still Corvid now in third place because Hernandi and Buda once again have broken free. Hernandi has his slipstream. That is the crucial part because Buda's tyres are just that little bit fresher, having started on the medium. Buda makes a mistake there. That's a rare mistake to see from the Estonian man racing at Asgusi. So phrased it well, his homemade track. So we'll have to see how his pace develops. Hernandi is very much still a shout to take his third career win, which he was just probably 2 corners away from in Alton Park. We see them go side by side and off the track. Oh, if they didn't have a massive gap behind them, then that would be massively consequential. But still it is, because Buda might have a couple words to say about that one at the end of the race. Hernandi will try to, for the time being, just run away perhaps on that hard compound tyre, because Buda isn't within his slipstream range. Alternatively, he knows that Buda's going to catch him soon. Buda is looking very fast, took pole by a huge margin, and has the fresher tyres. Is it almost worth it, dropping back immediately and trying to back Buda up into the pack, Nuno? Is that a viable strategy?
What I wasn't.
Could you back Buda up, try and just, as Hernandi, deliberately slow him down, as we see Hernandi just given the position there, through some of the low-speed corners, because there's a huge train of probably 3 to 5 cars behind waiting to feast on some Buda if he does get slowed down into that pack enough.
Yeah, I'm really not sure if. I think Nadi really just wants to now stay behind Buda right there, and I think he was trying to pass him to maybe slow him down a bit, but not to the next pack. It's just to really not allow Buda the chance to run away, maybe. Also, I'm looking here at Kubo at third place, and I think this is really interesting because I don't think he has a real huge chance of getting a podium here. That would be also amazing for the full force. So I'm trying to chase down LSA, who is currently leading the WCC standing. So yeah, I would say Kubo really dominated in CL. He got both wins once again, but this time it was really convincing wins, as he was clearly the best driver out there, and that might certainly bring confidence now. As you can see, he's running alone in third place there.
You've got to think his time in CL is limited with his form in that competition. He's now won 6 out of 6 races so far this season, so that's certainly something to behold. FLF looking for their first podium since season 6. I believe it would be the German Grand Prix there, so that's slightly fitting as well. The Hockenheim race in season 6, or it might just have been Malaysia. I'm not quite sure on my podiums there, but definitely it was a Nomskar Marion Frias double that got them that last double podium in season 6 seasons ago. So there you go. FLF looking for a return to form this season. That would be the perfect way to put the stamp on it. Get a 1 and 3, or maybe a 1 and 2 here if Kubo can chase that form back up. Again, a little just history stat. Of course, we haven't had too many 1-2s in Ultimate League / Sunday League. When they have come, they're usually LSA driven. But we did have 3 races in a row where we had a 1-2. Back in Season 4, it was LSA, then FLF, then LSA again, as we see Sobel try his hardest to make sure that LSA don't have a 1-2 today by making a lot of mistakes through that final sector. I stole these words. A similar mistake through the final corner, just taking some unnecessary grass on the inside, but he is up to 5th place due to the stoppers ahead of him. Interesting to see there. Sobel out of the pit lane. Jurist and Kraft, the LYR drivers, right behind as well. 10th and 11th position. Then it's Caddo and Grandi, Gwetzley and Pamusha still down in 15th. Not good for him. Jaruni 17th. And it's Andres and Suicide. The step in for Scuderia Paracado today. Not quite his track, or so he said in the garage before the race. Hernandi and Kubo in at the same time, but they're still going to have that gap between them. Corvid on the Altstrat going still strong on lap 19 on those older hard compound tyres, and it looks like Kubo has just cleared Rozim, who is on much older hards. It's not too much strategy going on, particularly at the top end of the field here. Will Gwetzley go for a set of hards? Yes, he will. Jaruni is the only driver left not running the hard compound tyres. So just as Nuno said, it came true. Weather will play a factor though, and who would benefit most off the rain at the moment, Nuno?
Yeah, I would say Corvid, which just one pit stop, with it as well. He would pretty much be alone in the lead, and Rozim also with one pit stop. Kado, basically everyone with just one pit stop until now.
Yeah, that's probably not wrong. Buda, yeah, still leading out in front, 4 seconds to Corvid behind, but obviously he's yet to come in for that second time, so that is obviously going to be advantageous to him if we do see some rain now, but it's not looking like it's going to be on the horizon just yet, and it'll have to come very quickly for him to make that change now. He is going to be in for another probably set of hard compound tyres, yes, and Corvid as well. Hernandi down the main straight into turn 1, and he will come through into the lead of the race, but on pretty significantly older tyres. His best bet is for rain to come soon, because that will mean that he has the track position, and he has, eventually when Buda does get past him, the slipstream, while having the strategy, as it would be in rain, completely wiped clean, wiped away, because everyone would have to come in for inters, wets, whatever the time might be, and he won't have to suffer the end of that stint on the hards in which he could potentially fall back from Buda. That is the idea behind the undercut, trying to just get that rain where you can still stick in the slip, and he's not giving the position up either, and Andy defending the inside a lot. We're going to have to see how he'll approach the hairpin. He's still covering the inside, and I think he might have slightly forced Buda off, but Buda will get a really nice exit, and Andy tries to move over to the inside, and he moves Buda off the track yet again. That is defending, well, offending as well. That might be just a little bit too aggressive for the Estonian driver's taste, and we've seen some of that already so far this race. And Andy with the elbows thoroughly out. Kubo, funny enough, not too far back. He also benefited majorly off an undercut, but he does also have older tyres than both Hernandi and Buda. Actually, same life as Hernandi, it pretty much looks like. Behind, we've got Antti, then it's Sobel, followed by Corvid, and I saw these words looking set for a very, very solid 7th place at the moment. Grandi, Rozim, and Pamushas back up into the top 10. Nuno.
Yeah, it's interesting here what Nani's been doing. I think these undercuts are really working well, because it's pretty much allowing him to still stay behind Buda even when he's sometimes on the stint he loses the slipstream. But yeah, now that Buda passed him is really going to be crucial for him to really stick with him as much as possible, because if he lets him run away too early in the stint, that's where Buda is going to have the chance to finally run away.
Oh, we've got a lag.
Little bit of lag there. Think we're clear now. Good-o.
Important to note that Nandi does have several warnings for aggressive driving, so he must be very, very careful to not succumb to a penalty as Buda pushes for his 10th podium and 5th podium in a row to join some elite company if he can do it today.
Interesting to see. Buda, definitely a strong title candidate. Of course, he missed round 1 at the Sepang International Circuit, but Hernandi, the man right behind him on track, only scored 5 points with a P13 finish of that race. A very rare moment for him. I nearly thought we had 2 cars going side by side into the hairpin, but it was just Kubo lapping Suicide. Now we've got a bit of a train going on. It's Corvid, it's Sobel, it's Antti, and I saw these words looking to pick up any scraps that he can. We'll have a look at their tyres. Corvid on the hards that are better than Sobel's, better than Antti's, and better than I saw these words. He is probably a lap or 2 clear of them in terms of the tyre, but he just needs to break away in terms of the slipstream, and he's made a mistake at the final corner. He'll say himself pretty much alongside or ahead of Sobel. This is a risky place to go battling. Sobel will just back out of that one for the time being. Antti's still in there. I saw these words with a little bit of lag, peeing down into the bottom right hand side. He's going to look to capitalise on this train. Rozim looking for a very solid 8th at the moment. Of course, we've still got 20 laps left to run here. Pamushas also in 9th place. Marion behind on fresher tyres. And we've got a little bit of a blue car battle. It's Grandi, followed by Urist and Kraft, who doesn't have quite the same pace that he did last week at Alton Park, but still looking on for a decent team finish if they can get high and clear there. Caddo made a little mistake there. He's being chased down by Gwetsley, who himself has Girini behind him. Not a great outing for the RMC boys so far. Andries and Suicide still there. Hernandi has very much fallen outside of that Buda slipstream massively. 3 seconds now is that gap, and he'll be coming to the pit lane very soon. Any strategic observations from you, Nuno?
Yeah, I think this is now where Nadi's strategy are started to fall down, because he lost more than 1 second on the previous lap, and yeah, it's now even with undercuts, it's really started to get harder, because Buda might be able to leave the pits in first. So yeah, when that happens, it's when Buda knows he has the upper hand on this race and might finally be able to cruise for victory. In the meantime, I'm really finding interesting. I saw these words constantly pitting after Sobel and Antti, and with him often being able to catch up to them. It's really interesting how I think he's really doing an amazing race, the British driver. Now it looks like Sol is going for something different. He's going for the mediums, and Antti now trying to just happily following him his slipstream.
Yeah, he's sitting in a bit of a net P7, and after starting in tied for 2nd today, his best finish is only 13th, so he is on pace for an absolute banger personal best.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see that as well. He's only had a few races in the competition so far in his career and no top 10s as of yet. We're not going to jinx him any commentator's curse here today, but we'll just see how he gets on over the course of the race. And Andy is now into the pit lane. Something interesting I've noticed, obviously Sobel and Antti side by side a lot of the time, as we see Corvid get that position off Andy, who crucially does come out ahead of Kubo and Rozim after the stop and will look to run away as quickly as possible. Anti's entering the pits much better than Sobel is, because he's just taking a slightly sharper inside line. Sobel will drift wide on the entry and just kill his speed a bit too much in that corner, and then Anti picks up the scrap and they pretty much enter in ghosted next to each other, side by side. So Buda now comes into the pit lane. He's looking to cover off that Hanandi undercut that's been so prevalent so far, and that's a really good strategical move because Hanandi, being 3 seconds back, also has the Australian to overtake, a notoriously difficult driver to get through on, but Corvid might just look to let him through here. Or will he? No, he's still going to fight this, and Corvid might just fancy himself to take that position back off Anandi, or at least slow him down as much as possible. Corvid looking for Goose. Would it be FGR's first podium of the season? I believe so. In this third race.
Yes, of the season it would be for sure.
Yeah. So that'll be good for him. Corvid and Marion, a very good lineup. Yet to see the podium so far, but looking strong for it today. Although obviously with every stop you sort of get tossed from second down to seventh, such as the tightness of this upper midfield battle. Sobel still in fourth, still on the mediums, and Antti is doing a very good job just to stick in that slip and try and extend past the medium tyre life with his hards. Kubo running in a very good third, and you've got to reckon that it would be Kubo versus Corvid. Different strategies, but at the end of the day, it will matter who leads at the end of lap 46. And that man right there, Buda, is looking a very strong candidate to do so, to take his first ever race win in Ultimate League. Obviously, he finished first on track at the race at Zandvoort, but was awarded a post-race penalty of 1 position due to weaving on the final straight, and that must have been a pretty heartbreaking one for him to lose. He's now back at a different team, looking to take their first win, since Monaco last season, so not a huge gap there, but looking to take his first win, and that would be a really important thing for him, not just to take the win, but also in the fashion that he's doing it today, without much doubt in his mind. And Andy, his battle for him is just slowly sliding back as we get into the later stages of the race. He might even be falling into the grasp of Kubo, who does have slightly older tyres, but not bad pace. Last lap time was a 31.9 and 31.9 for Hanandi as well. Pretty similar times so far, and we'll have to see how this battle for second, third, fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh, even eighth and ninth and 10th all heats up. Marion just running outside the top 10 in 11th place at the minute. Nuno, anything from your end?
Well, it was interesting. I'm not sure if you saw in the lobby chat, but Sobel was typing S12, which I think was to switch up with Antti. As you can see, Antti is the one leading this group, as they also have S12 was trying to follow them and catch up to them now, as now we are approaching the time where the drivers are really starting to think about when they're going to do their last pit stop, as now we are with only 9 laps to go to the end. Actually 11 laps is now. Sobel now into the pits.
Certainly is. Off the mediums, onto the hards. He's going for a final throw of the dice, 11 laps to the end on that hard compound tyre, and he might just be looking to undercut and break clear of Antti, but that will be an interesting strategy for him to pursue because he has Rozim 4 tenths ahead of him, and might just provide a little bit of a roadblock in his plans. We'll follow on board with them. Antti in 4th position, surely an in-lap or close for him because he's on those hards that will only do a couple more laps, and Sobel, that's suicide actually, Sobel right behind Rozim looking for that undercut. He took the mediums for that very purpose. Can he try and just get through on the German? Rozim's not going to make it too difficult for him. Down into turn 1, the man at his home race looking for a very solid 8th place finish for the Mayhem team. It'll be 8 and 17 for them as it stands. Up near the top, Buda still leads, Hanandi still second. Kubo's dropped back a little bit. He's in 3rd place. Then it's Antti still in 4th, and I store these words, yet to make his final stop as well, as is Antti, as is Kubo, as is Hanandi, as is Buda. We can expect those all pretty soon, unless... No, Buda can't. Is Buda taking these tyres to the end, Nuno?
No, I don't think so. I think he might try and go for Saucer to the end. I'm pretty sure, as I think he can certainly do 2 more laps at least.
Yeah.
With these tires, and yeah, Nadi, I think there's not much he can do now. He's already 4 seconds behind Muda, and it will nearly take a disaster from the Estonian for Nani to get the win here.
Or
He could even push it for the softs, but he has enough space to comfortably get mediums to the end here.
undercut from Kubo. This could be really, really interesting because he has a big gap to make up on Hernandi. But if Hernandi just starts to struggle on those old hards, as we see him doing there, and he takes maybe a nick of grass going through that corner as well, Kubo has come out right ahead of Sobel and Rozim and is going to look to absolutely fly through if Sobel doesn't battle him. Sobel just giving him a friendly nudge through that corner, reminding him that he's there. This will be really interesting to see. I think Hernandi will be in the next couple of laps, as will Buda. I mean, Buda increasingly getting very close to the end, but surely it'll be one final soft stint. He already has the fastest lap of the race. He might want to go for a vanity faster lap, as it were. Corvid is in, Kubo and Sobel fly through. Sobel, all of a sudden, might actually just be looking at a fight for the podium here, because he is right on the back of the Polish man running the mediums in third place, and he's sort of somewhat out of nowhere managed to do that, but he's got a long old way to the end. He pitted on lap 35, and he's only got 6 laps still left to run as he's looking for a move on Kubo there. Nuno, Hernandi into the pits.
Yeah, and all this was possible because of this medium stint where he now made the undercut, and now at the beginning of this first stint he's at least trying to either pass Kubo or just stay with him, and then later on when the tires start to get more even, maybe try to go for the podium. But I think this hasn't been mentioned now, but Kubo is really looking hell now for a podium, as Antti is gonna try and catch up to them. Also Stoli and also Corby. There's like, it's kind of like what was happening in the previous race with the win, but now it's for the podium positions here. We have everyone further behind with pair of tires trying to catch up to this group of Kubo and Sobel. So things are really started to heat up here for the lowest podium position.
Yeah, Hernandi on that outlap just at this very corner went pretty far wide, and I think even with the very slim hopes of getting that undercut on Buda, that pretty much removed them altogether. Sobel, of course, has won every single race that the league has run under the new name of Ultimate League, and I think it would take a miracle for him to win today, but he's going to look to keep up that 100% podium record if he can. Kubo looking for his very first podium, while his teammate Buda looking for his very first win. It's going to be celebrations all around in the FLF garage in 4 laps time if things finish as they are, but don't discount any late rain because the game loves to throw a little bit of that up, as we saw in Alton, as we saw in Zandvoort. It can shake up the order, but not long left now for that to have a big effect on the race. It's still Kubo and Sobel. No pit stops left planned for anybody on the grid. Surely, I mean, even with Suicide in last place still having 4 laps left to run, that's smaller than any pit stint that you'd be able to manage. Kubo looking to just break free from Sobel. Sobel's tyres will be starting to punish him a little bit, particularly through these windy corners, but that runoff will be helping him as well just to stick in the slipstream range. Is he still there into the hairpin? He very much is, and Kubo goes deep, really deep there, misjudges braking point most likely, or had an external factor, lag or stutter or whatever it may be, and he's fallen right back into the clutches of the LSA driver behind him. The LSA driver ahead looking to just clear off down the road, his teammate ahead looking to just clear off up the road. And Kubo, before this race, told me, keep an eye on the FLFs and the LSAs. Me, Buda, Sobel and Hernandi are looking so strong on pace today, and they very much are. It's currently 1, 2 and 3 and 4 for them at the moment, but we have to look behind because I stole these words, looking for a first ever top 10, and it might just be a top 5, but Anti's going to look to take that away from him if he can. Corvid really close behind. Anti also still just in this battle, and I saw these words back through on the Australian driver now as they head into that left-hander as we get the podium runners going on to start their very last lap of the race. We've got battles for the podium, battles for lower down, and we've got rain to top it off, as if it couldn't get any more dramatic here, and it surely won't affect the drivers too much, but we might see some splatterings at the end of the lap. Drivers lower down might look to gamble, and they have. Andres has pitted, but Buda, meanwhile, is going to come home for a very deserved and very dominant victory for the first time in Ultimate League. Buda wins the German Grand Prix, and Nandi will come home second, and Sobel just at the last corner will drag it out with Kubo to the line. We're not sure who got that one, but it might have just been Kubo. Corvid at the final corner forces Stoli off for 7th, and the rain has come now. Rozim takes 8th position. Grandy will drift his way home to 9th. And it's going to be Pamushis in 10th. A little bit of standing water. Now it's Marion who takes 11th. And Kado will go through as they all drift through the final sector. And the Lynx is also battling there as well. And Eurus will not be pleased. He'll be fuming about that. Kado takes 12th. Then it's Kraft in 13th. Eurus in 14th. Jaruni takes a disappointing 15th place. Gwetzi will have to come home ahead of Andries, who is pretty comfortably behind him. But he's going to just be drifting through this final sector. And at the end of the race, come the end of it all, it was Buda who won the German Grand Prix. And it looks like heartbreakingly for him, by just 0.03 of a second, Kubo once again will lose out on that maiden podium. LSA, for the second race running, take a double podium. Last time, 1-2. This time, 2-3. Regardless, very strong for them in the WCC. Antti takes 5th, Corvid 6th, and I stole these words 7th. Suicide just taking the piss a little bit as he heads to the line. We'll see who gets
We
fastest.
got his race count right this time. Buda has 20 career races, 10 career podiums, and 1 career win. What a nice box up for the Estonian.
The Estonian looking to mount a title challenge this season, and he's taken his first victory, which is the most important stepping stone to do so. He's getting that mental block out of the way, and come the end of the race, Buda, with the fastest lap, takes a lot of points for the victory. It's going to be Hernandi, then Sobel, then Kubo, and Antti. Corvid, and I stole these words, Rozim and Grandi. Then it's going to be Pamushis, who takes 10th place, ahead of Marin, then Kado and Kraft, Eurus and Jaruni, Gwetzi, Andries, and Suicide down in last place. Nuno, your thoughts on that one?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Buda did what he had to do. He started on pole position, managed to run away at the beginning, although he made some mistakes which allowed then Nani to catch up to him, and then Nani made some really good undercuts. I think he did the best that he could to stop Buda, but then later on, where he lost a lot of time to him, I think there was one lap he really lost more than 1 second, which really cost him a lot, and from there, Buda was allowed to beat and then still keeping that lead from there. I think it was pretty much a controllable race from there. Also with the fastest lap, really amazing. So Buda takes the hat trick. I think the pole and the win and the fastest lap. I'm not sure if it's Grand Slam.
Not
because
quite
not
a Grand Slam, no, I don't think so,
Yeah.
because Corvid led a little bit there on his alternate strap, but Buda will be absolutely delighted. And Buda, would you like to give an interview? Hat trick for you today, first win at your own track. How did that one feel?
What do you wanna know, brothers?
How does it feel to get the win finally?
It feels amazing, my friends. It feels better than cocaine.
I think he's already had a bit of the post-race champagne on the podium. Great to hear, Buda. And how's the title challenge looking for this season now you've taken that first win?
Tough, really tough one.
You don't back yourself? Come on, Buda WDC.
No, well, Sobel and Nandi are strong, so
They certainly are. Yeah, it's going to be tough as well for FLF.
I'm not giving up. I'm gonna make it hard for them.
It's the spirit we love to see. We'll talk to your teammate now. Kubo, 4th place, just 300ths away from your first ever podium for FLF. Great result for the team, but that must sting.
Oh man, it's he slept me until the end, and then he pulled an anti in Zandvoort on me, and just about edged me out for 3rd place. Well, I am disappointed that I didn't get the podium, but I got P4 and my teammate won the race, so there's still a lot to celebrate. But yeah, it does sting.
Fair few points still good for you there, and FLF looking really strong in the constructors now. Do you reckon you can dismount the lead that LSA brought on from their 1-2 last race, potentially bring the fight back to them?
I think by the end of this half of the season, I think it will be even closer than it already is.
Interesting. And maybe just finally we'll go to I Stole These Words. It wasn't quite 5th place, it was 7th in the end, but still by far your best ever finish. That was just an amazing drive from you. How did it feel?
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, the key really was qualifying 3rd because, as you probably witnessed on the vid, just the chaos of that hairpin, and once you get detached, it's very hard to kind of keep up with the other guys. So getting away with Antti and Sobel and just sort of slipping in the first stint and having sort of that 2-3 second buffer to what Grandy and Roz was sort of key to holding on there. And then right at the end was catching Ante, but unfortunately COVID sort of was on fresher tyres behind us, and we couldn't quite get away. And then once there's a three-way battle for fifth, it's it's just a lottery, isn't it? And but absolutely delighted with P7.
Yeah, really solid result there, and absolutely right there. It could have been, for a lot of the positions at the final part of the race, it could have been absolutely anything. But yeah, great result for BAR. And how are you feeling about general championship? Obviously, maybe not going for the title this season, but BAR looking pretty strong, 7-10 here today. Jake Brown's got to be pleased about that one, surely.
Yeah, I hope so. That is, like you said, the best result so far. So just hoping that we can keep that consistency going into the next race and qualify well and get away from the starts well. I think because that's because with everyone from about P5 to P15, if you get sort of bogged down in that mid pack, you could end up anywhere.
Right, well, that was a thoroughly entertaining race. That was the German Grand Prix. We're back for Mosport, which should be basically an oval next week, but we're really looking forward to the entertainment that will bring. And that's all for this week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.